Welcome back to Mighty Habits. The show that takes all that stuff on your reading list from to be read
Yeah.
to totally get it.
Yeah.
So today we're diving into a book that's really kind of cool. Um, it promises a roadmap,
Oh, wow.
not just for fixing, what's broken in your life, but for becoming like the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's called When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal by Brianna Wiest.
Okay.
And it's got so many interesting insights in it.
Well, it really changes how we think about healing.
Yeah.
It's not just about, patching things up. It's about using all of those life experiences
Right.
as fuel for growth and to reach your full potential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of just putting a cast on a broken bone,
Right.
you're learning how to build stronger bones in the future.
Yes.
One of the things that I thought was really interesting in this book is this idea of post-traumatic growth.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever noticed how sometimes going through something really tough actually changes you for the better?
It is kind of paradox, isn't it? We think of trauma as something that damages us,
Right.
but research actually shows that it can also be a catalyst for profound positive change.
Yeah.
People who faced major challenges, they often report feeling stronger, more resilient,
Right.
and even more grateful for the good things in their lives.
It's almost like those kintsugi bowls
Oh, yeah.
where they repair the cracks with gold, making it even more beautiful and valuable
Beautiful.
because of its imperfections.
I love that. And it really highlights this point that Wiest makes.
Yeah.
That we resist change a lot of times because we're afraid of losing our current identity,
Right.
even if the identity is not serving us anymore.
Yeah, it's like, hey, I know this version of myself,
Exactly.
even if it's a bit messed up, but change is scary.
Right, but clinging to that outdated identity is precisely what keeps us stuck.
Hmm.
So Wiest encourages us to see those moments of resistance as opportunities for growth.
Okay.
It's about asking ourselves, what am I afraid of losing? And is holding on to this really worth all this pain that it's causing me?
It's about realizing that we can choose a different path,
Yes,
one that leads to more joy, more fulfillment, more of everything we truly desire.
absolutely.
So how do we actually start making those choices,
Yeah.
especially when we're feeling stuck in old patterns?
Well, Wiest provides a ton of practical tools and strategies,
That's-
but it all starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
Without understanding the root causes of our behaviors.
Yeah.
We're just putting Band-Aids on deeper wounds.
So it's not just about feeling better. It's about figuring out why we feel the way we do in the first place.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's like if your check engine light keeps coming on, you wouldn't just keep hitting the reset button.
Right.
You'd want to figure out what's actually causing the problem.
For sure. And that's where things can get a little uncomfortable because it requires honesty and a willingness to look at parts of ourselves that we might not like.
Okay, so self-awareness is key, but how do we actually go about uncovering those deeper layers?
Yeah.
Those root causes that are driving our actions and reactions?
Well, one technique Wiest highlights is reframing.
Okay.
And it's not about denying our pain or minimizing our experiences,
Right.
but rather shifting our perspective to find the meaning and growth within those experiences.
So it's like looking at a situation from a different angle,
Yes.
and suddenly you see things you didn't notice before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of an anecdote from the book, and I don't want to spoil it for our listeners,
Okay.
but it involves someone who went through something incredibly challenging and was able to reframe it
Wow.
as a catalyst for growth.
What's fascinating is that this ability to reframe isn't just some magical skill.
Right.
It's something we can cultivate through practice.
Okay.
It's about asking ourselves, what can I learn from this?
Yeah.
How can I use this experience to become stronger, wiser, more compassionate?
Yeah. It's like instead of seeing a challenging experience as a detour,
Mm-hmm.
we can choose to see it as a scenic route that's taking us somewhere even more beautiful than we originally planned.
I love that.
So we've talked about self-awareness, reframing, choosing a different path.
Yeah.
What else does Wiest emphasize as being essential for this healing journey?
Well, she highlights two key ingredients that are often overlooked: self-compassion and acceptance.
It's so easy to be hard on ourselves, especially when we're going through tough times.
Yes.
We tend to beat ourselves up over our mistakes or perceived shortcomings.
It's that inner critic that whispers, "You're not good enough.
Right.
You're a failure. You'll never be happy."
Yeah.
And that inner critic can sabotage even our best efforts to heal and grow.
So how do we silence that inner critic and cultivate more self-compassion?
It starts with recognizing that we're all human,
Okay.
that we all make mistakes,
Mm-hmm.
and that we all deserve kindness and understanding even when we're struggling.
Yeah.
Imagine talking to a friend who's going through a tough time.
Right.
You wouldn't berate them for their struggles, would you?
No.
You'd offer them support and encouragement. Self-compassion is about offering that same kindness to ourselves.
Okay, so it's about recognizing that we're doing the best we can with the resources we have.
Yeah,
And that's enough.
that's enough.
And I imagine acceptance plays a big role in this as well, right?
Absolutely. Acceptance is about acknowledging reality as it is without resistance.
Okay.
It's not about liking or approving of a difficult situation,
Right.
but rather making peace with what is so we can move forward with clarity and strength.
It's like instead of battling against the current,
Mm-hmm.
we learn to swim with it to navigate the waters more skillfully.
Exactly. And that shift from resistance to acceptance can be incredibly liberating.
Yeah.
It allows us to move from a place of feeling stuck and victimized to a place of empowerment and agency.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into when you're ready, this is how you heal.
Yes.
We've talked about the power of post-traumatic growth, the importance of self-awareness,
Mm-hmm.
the transformative potential of reframing, and the crucial role of self-compassion and acceptance.
Yeah.
And we're just getting started.
We are.
We'll be back in just a moment to continue exploring the wisdom of Brianna Wiest's work.
Welcome back to our deep dive into When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal.
Yes.
We're picking up where we left off, exploring this powerful idea of acceptance.
You know, one thing that really resonated with me is that acceptance isn't about condoning or approving of something we dislike.
Right.
It's more about recognizing that resisting reality only amplifies our suffering.
It's like trying to push a boulder uphill.
Oh, yeah.
You might expend a ton of energy, but you're not going to get very far.
Right.
And you're likely to end up exhausted and frustrated.
So how do we shift from that feeling of pushing against reality to actually embracing it,
Yeah, that's the question.
especially when we're dealing with things that are really tough?
Wiest suggests cultivating a practice of mindfulness.
Okay.
It's about bringing your awareness to the present moment, observing your thoughts and feelings without judgment.
So instead of getting caught up in those why me thoughts or dwelling on the unfairness of it all.
Exactly. We simply notice those thoughts and feelings, acknowledging their presence without getting swept away by them.
It's like being a curious observer of your own internal weather patterns.
I like that.
You notice the storm clouds, but you don't have to get drenched in the rain.
Precisely as we develop this mindful awareness, we create a little space between ourselves and our thoughts and emotions.
Mm-hmm.
We realize that we're not our thoughts, we're not our feelings, we're the awareness that's experiencing them.
And that space, that separation, allows us to choose how we respond to those experiences.
Yes, instead of reacting impulsively from a place of fear or anger, we can pause, breathe, and make a more conscious choice.
Another important point Wiest makes is that healing isn't a linear process.
Right.
It's not always about moving forward in a straight line.
Absolutely. There will be setbacks moments where you feel like you're taking 2 steps back for every 1 step forward.
And it's so easy to get discouraged in those moments, to feel like
Mhm.
we're failing or doing something wrong.
And that's where self-compassion comes in again.
Okay.
It's about acknowledging those setbacks as a natural part of the journey.
They're not a sign of weakness. They're an opportunity to learn to adjust our course
Mm-hmm.
and to keep moving forward with even greater resilience.
Remember, the path to healing isn't a perfectly paved highway.
Okay.
It's more like a winding mountain trail.
Oh, yeah.
There will be twists and turns, steep climbs, and maybe even a few stumbles along the way.
I love that analogy. It reminds me of something Wiest says in the book.
Oh, yeah.
She compares the healing journey to climbing a mountain.
The climb might be challenging at times, but the view from the summit is breathtaking.
Right.
And even along the way, there are incredible vistas to be savored.
It's about focusing on the journey, not just the destination.
Yes.
And finding joy and beauty even in the midst of the challenges.
Now, beyond acceptance, mindfulness, and the nonlinear nature of healing, what other insights from the book do you think are particularly relevant for our listeners?
Well, one that really stood out to me is Wiest's emphasis on the mind-body-spirit connection.
It's not just about addressing our emotional wounds.
Right.
It's about taking care of ourselves holistically.
It's about recognizing that all aspects of ourselves are interconnected. When one part is out of balance, it affects the whole system. It's like a car. If your tires are out of alignment, it's
Mm.
going to affect your steering your brakes
Yes.
and even your fuel efficiency.
And so true healing involves addressing all these dimensions, not just focusing on one in isolation.
I think some people might be surprised to find a book about healing, delving into topics like physical health and spiritual connection.
That's because Wieston understands that true healing isn't just about fixing what's broken.
Right.
It's about creating a life that is vibrant, joyful, and full of purpose.
And that involves taking care of ourselves on all levels.
Absolutely.
So what are some practical ways we can nurture that mind-body-spirit connection?
It can be as simple as incorporating things like movement, healthy eating, and stress management techniques into our daily routines.
What about the spiritual side of things?
It might involve spending time in nature, connecting with a community of like-minded individuals, or engaging in practices that nourish our souls,
Okay.
like meditation, creative expression, or acts of service.
There are so many pathways to explore, and the beauty of it is that you can find what resonates with you,
Yes.
what helps you feel grounded, connected, and aligned with your true self.
Now, another crucial aspect of healing that Waste delves into is forgiveness.
Okay.
And I know this can be a loaded topic for many.
It can definitely bring up a lot of resistance, especially if we've been deeply hurt by someone else.
Yes.
It can feel like we're letting them off the hook or condoning their actions.
And that's a common misconception. Forgiveness isn't about the other person.
Right.
It's about freeing ourselves from the burden of resentment and anger.
It's about recognizing that holding on to those negative emotions is only poisoning us.
It's not about forgetting what happened or minimizing the pain that was caused,
Right.
but rather choosing to release the grip that those past experiences have on our present lives.
I love the way Wiest puts it. Forgiveness is not about becoming best friends with the person who hurt you. It's about becoming best friends with yourself.
It's about reclaiming our own power and choosing to live from a place of love, compassion, and peace.
Now, I know this might sound idealistic or even impossible for some, especially those carrying a lot of hurt and anger.
And that's perfectly understandable. Forgiveness is a process, not a destination.
Okay.
It takes time, courage, and often support.
And it's important to remember that forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, not the person who hurt us.
It's a way of liberating ourselves from the past so we can fully embrace the present moment and create a future filled with joy, peace, and fulfillment.
So we've covered some pretty powerful ground in this second part of our deep dive.
We have.
The transformative power of acceptance, cultivating mindfulness, the meandering path of healing, the importance of self-compassion, nurturing the mind-body-spirit connection, and the liberating potential of forgiveness.
And we've only scratched the surface of the wisdom contained in When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal.
Yeah.
We'll be back in a moment with the final part of this deep dive to wrap up our exploration and leave you with some thought-provoking takeaways.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal. We've been unpacking so much wisdom, and now it's time to bring it all together.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how these pieces connect, to create a bigger picture of healing and transformation.
One of the most intriguing ideas from the book is that healing isn't about arriving at some perfect destination.
Right.
It's about embracing the journey of becoming.
Yeah, it's not about reaching a point where we're suddenly fixed or complete.
Right.
It's about recognizing that we are all works in progress, constantly evolving and expanding.
We're all on this lifelong adventure of self-discovery, and the bumps in the road are just as important as the smooth stretches.
Exactly. Each experience, each challenge, each setback offers an opportunity for growth and learning.
So instead of striving for some, unattainable ideal,
Right.
we can focus on showing up authentically each day, embracing the imperfections,
Yes.
and celebrating the progress we make along the way.
And that brings us to another crucial aspect of healing, that Wieckas emphasizes the power of connection.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
We are social creatures by nature,
Yeah.
Wired for connection, and healing often blossoms within the context of safe and supportive relationships.
It's about having people in our lives who see us, who love us unconditionally, and who champion our journey even when it gets messy.
It's about knowing we're not alone in our struggles and having a safe space to share our vulnerabilities and celebrate our triumphs.
And it's also about being that source of support for others,
Yeah.
offering our compassion, empathy, and encouragement to those around us.
Because healing is contagious, isn't it?
It really is.
When we heal ourselves, we inspire others to do the same. And when we support others in their healing journeys, we create this ripple effect of positive change that extends far beyond ourselves.
It's about recognizing that we're all in this together, interconnected in ways we may not even fully comprehend.
So here's the takeaway I hope you walk away with today. Healing is possible. Transformation is possible.
It is.
And you don't have to do it alone. When you're ready, This Is How You Heal is more than just a book title. It's a powerful message of hope and possibility.
It's a reminder that within each of us lies the innate capacity to heal, to grow, and to create a life that is truly fulfilling.
So if you're seeking personal growth, deeper understanding, or a path towards healing, I highly recommend checking out Brianna Wiest's work.
Yeah,
It's been an incredibly valuable resource for me, and I know it can be for you too.
absolutely.
And that's a wrap on this deep dive into When You're Ready, This Is How You Heal. If you enjoy this insightful exploration, be sure to subscribe to Mighty Habits for more thought-provoking discussions on personal growth, well-being, and everything in between.
We'll see you next time.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep growing, and keep healing.